Thank you very much, Mr. Gray. I have to say it's depressing for the second time in a fortnight to listen to one or two honourable members opposite talking down the Welsh economy in this context. And I just want to... talking down... I listened with interest in the Welsh Grant Committee the other day, and nothing much has changed. Let's look at the context of this, and you may claim, and perhaps rightly, some credit for this. 180 companies currently dependent on the MOD in Wales, 25,000 jobs, £220 million of expenditure, and £250 million into the local economy. And I am a beneficiary of that in Carmarthen, Western and South Pembrokeshire. We have a great but much smaller MOD establishment at Castlemartin Camp. I'm hoping for some good news there when we hear what the outcome of the closure of certain tank training ranges in Germany might bring some positive benefits to that area. We have a small MOD establishment at Penally, upon which the local community heavily depends. We have an independent weapons training centre at Pendine, which is absolutely crucial to MOD development, not only in Wales, but of course across the wider UK. And we have at least one very decent territorial army unit based in Carmarthen. And I suppose I should declare, Mr. Gray, a slight interest in this. I served in the Territorial Army for a number of years, and very good years they were too. And I acknowledge the comments made by the Honourable Lady as far as the colleagues that I used to deal with back in those days. What a different place it was then. The most dangerous place I ever went in the TA was Warminster. Now the regiment that I served with goes to a lot more dangerous places than that, and does... I will give way in just a minute. I can tell you that not only the local soldiers who contribute to the Territorial Army in West Wales, but also their employers who actually let them off without concern for what effect that might have on their businesses, day after day, week after week, weekend after weekend, who gladly let these guys go off and train in the interest of the nation. These are all positive things which the Ministry of Defence and the wider armed service community bring to our local area. I will, of course, give way.
Davis?
I'm bemused. Surely the honourable member should be calling for greater investment on behalf of his constituents to bring jobs and prosperity to his constituency, rather than supporting cuts. I just can't understand this.
Simon Hart.
Thank you for the intervention. The honourable member troubles me because surely defence of the realm is the most important decision that we should be taking in this context. Delightful though it is, this is not a job creation scheme. This is about defending the nation in the context of some extremely complicated and rather depressing financial background and a £38 billion black hole in defence procurement, which we were left. Now, it's all very well living in. Just 1 minute. It's all very well living in. It's all very well. Would you like to intervene again?
Mr. Bryant.
The deficit and cuts generally, and ignoring the difference between spending and investment in our strategic interests for the future to defend our country. And clearly it's all about cuts and not in the interests of his own constituents.
I couldn't disagree more. The point I made about Castlemartin is absolutely valid in this context. Of course, I've been in touch with the Defence Secretary and the Minister sitting here on my left about the future of that particular depot, and of course others too. But it is simply not possible, no. It is simply not possible to have this conversation as if the UK economy didn't exist. We have to operate within the context of the wider economic circumstances in which, for whatever reason, we have been placed. So that is where we are. And of course, the decisions have to be taken with local interests in mind. But ultimately, as the Minister referred earlier on, it has to be, surely it has to be about defence needs in that wider context. The choice is almost too tempting. I'm not sure who to go to. Who was first? I think the Honourable Member for the Rhondda was the patient one.
I'd almost given up, but I've almost given up on the honourable gentleman. But now I'm on my feet. I'm grateful to him for giving way. He referred to this completely fallacious figure of 36 billion, or I can't remember where he inflated it to 38 billion. It is completely fallacious. The National Audit Office made it absolutely clear that if there was a gap at all, it was of 6 billion. He shouldn't perpetrate these myths.
Well, the Honourable Member for the Rhondda will be pleased that I'm able to quote here about a black hole of 38 billion in unfunded procurement commitments, to which the reference is an MOD brief post-SDSR Defence SB adds 19th October 2010. So if that's good enough for the MOD, it's good enough for me. I'm sorry it's not good enough. I'm sorry it's not good enough for the member for the Ronde.
He's making a very powerful case. Can I just say that it is not fallacious?
Excellent speech.
The Ministry of Defence budget was projected to be overspent by £38 billion. £38 billion over the next 10 years. It is not drivel, and indeed, Mr Gray, my honourable friend, will know that the last Labour government were planning cuts across the board of 20% throughout government spending, so I really don't think it goes down well to hear people defending such matters as we are hearing now.
Thank you, Mr. Rich, and thank the Minister for his intervention. Can I turn briefly to St Athan, and not that it's a normal habit of mine to come to the defence of the honourable member for the Vale of Glamorgan, but he is actually in the Vale of Glamorgan today, working hard on behalf of his constituents. As my honourable friend for Salisbury said, I'm not, Mr Gray, sadly in possession of the honourable member's diary. But I don't think anybody, no I won't, but I don't think anybody can, I don't think anybody, I wish I hadn't bothered to do this, I don't think anybody could doubt the honourable member's commitment to the future of St Athan. And for, well, I would love to continue. Anybody who wishes to intervene. I think the honourable member in the middle. Absolutely. I'm sorry it took such a long time. Nothing personal.
Chris Ruane.
What could be more important than defending a £20 billion investment in your own constituency?
But before the honourable gentleman answers that point, by long tradition in this House, we don't refer to other members who are not present in the chamber unless we've given them notice that we intend to do that. So I think this particular discussion is not necessarily central to the whole debate on defence spending in Wales, and I suggest the honourable gentleman returns to the main topic under discussion.
Mr Gray, absolutely. I do apologise to the Chairman for coming to the unnecessary defence, as it turned out, of my colleague. No, I'm not. I'm just to make a wee bit of progress, and fun though this is, it will come to an end in the very near future. The facts are this, and as I referred earlier on, one of the depressing features of the Welsh Grand Committee, I'll be reprimanded again in a minute, is this sort of extraordinary period of denial. It's as if the last 13 years never seemed to exist at all. And the truth about metrics is it simply could not deliver what we hoped it would deliver on time or on price. And I suppose if there is a difference between the last government and this one, is we're not prepared to go down the road of just signing off willy-nilly contracts which we can neither justify financially, we can neither justify in the context of defence. I will give way to the honourable member for the first time.
I genuinely thank the honourable gentleman for his clarity and his honesty here, because what we see is a complete volte-face from the position of the honourable gentleman's party before the election. There was cross-party sign-up to this, cross-party support for the metrics bid, cross-party support for the analysis that the MOD had done of this bid, and what the honourable gentleman has now made clear is that there has been, not on the issue of spending, but on the issue of the priorities of the MOD, this bid did not stack up. And that is a tragedy, because if we were to put this back together and argue for metrics, then we know we do not have support of the party opposite to do this for St Athens. It's a tragedy.
Simon Hart.
Thank the right honourable member, I think, for his contribution. Not yet, only a mere matter of time. Despite that, though, I have to say I don't agree with the word he said. We were faced with some extremely difficult choices. You've heard that expression before, in the context not just of defence spending, but every other form of investment, inward investment in Wales. I think the evidence speaks for itself. The Minister will no doubt put us right on that. And I think we mustn't also allow ourselves to be tempted into believing that somehow this is the end of the road for St Athan. That's been made perfectly clear that it is not. We are going to hear more about that, so I don't want to steal the Minister's thunder. However, and I did say this would be a brief contribution. It's been slightly longer than I might have intended. There is one, as an ex-serviceman, at least on the very fringes of the military, the idea that decisions can be taken purely on the basis of local need or purely on the basis of local economics, rather than the overall defence needs of the nation in the context, not quite yet because I'm coming to an end, in the overall context of the UK economy, is simply nonsense. And we are holding the telescope to the wrong eye if we think we can proceed as a nation, either economically or in the defence context, if that is the way that you wish to proceed. And I am delighted that we are actually facing up to that. And it appears to me that people haven't previously faced up to this on the other side. I am depressed by that. Every intervention has simply confirmed what I feared, that actually somehow we're prepared to take decisions without any possible concern for the consequences, either economically, either locally, or either in a defence context. Now, I'm going to finish now, and then the floor, I'm sure Mr Gray will enable to be yours. There was, however, one decision, I shall end on a lighter note, that I commend the previous government for, and that is ensuring that the Welsh Guards regimental goat, William Windsor, survived all of the various assaults on the armed services in Wales as a consequence of the previous government. And it's all very well, the Honourable Lady referring to the many letters she may have received from sort of satisfied servicemen's families. I don't know what world that you are inhabiting, but I can assure you the world that I've been inhabiting has been year after year through personal contact, year after year, month after month, day after day, from people who were begging for just some small differences, some small improvements to be made to their lot in their service of our country abroad, and who were deeply frustrated as a result of inactivity or incompetence. I don't know which it was, which I'm afraid epitomised 13 years of Labour rule if you happen to be an armed serviceman.